David?
Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. This is such an unusual schedule, a Thursday game this late in the year. Just what is your schedule this week, and how do you alter your approach with this Saturday?
I mean, it's very similar to the Thanksgiving schedule. So, obviously the players were home for Christmas. Coach's game plan last night. So today is, like a Monday for the Thanksgiving game.
And as far as the practice itself, it'll be same number of reps you normally have, or how do you?
No, we cut it back a little bit. We're going to focus more on normal D&D today, just because we didn't complete the game plan for third down this morning. So, and we'll do everything tomorrow in a walkthrough type fashion. So we'll be in heavy walkthrough. We already had the first walkthrough, separate offense and defense, and then we'll have the full team work here at 4:15, and then we'll have a full normal day tomorrow. But the practice will be in a jog through type pace.
All right, so before we start talking, did any injuries come up in the game or out of the game that we don't know about? And can you talk about Sam Williams? He talked to us today about being thankful for just surviving what could have been a horrific accident.
Yeah, definitely. I think number one, the injuries. I don't really have anything to report in Sam's situation. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's not a phone call you ever want to receive, and we're just thankful that both Sam and the the individual in the other cars came out okay. So yeah, it's you can't talk about it enough. I can't tell you how many times we speak about the the driving to the airport, particularly coming home from the airport, after a late night game, getting in late, so got to be careful. And so it's definitely an awareness that we talk about quite a bit.
John McCarthy, The Athletic. What did you think of T.Y. Hilton's 12 plays on Saturday, and what do you think that he could handle? He mentioned that you guys talked about ramping him up, and that, how much more do you think he can handle?
Well, the ramp up was really going into the last game, so, as we continue to work through the game plan part of it, I think obviously, we feel, much better about how much he can do. So, but just like anything, you build packages. We're not worried about the ramp up no more. So I guess the answer to your question is out of the ramp up phase. So he'll definitely be more involved.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. What do you make of Kearse's game with the 2 takeaways that he was able to have?
Oh, I thought J-Ron played huge. He was one of the game ball winners. So I thought he played an excellent game. Obviously a big matchup, throughout for the most part. So yeah, he's been an outstanding leader for us, and he's been playing through a number of things and steps up every week.
Mike Jory of Yahoo Sports. For a third straight game, the sack total wasn't what it was at the beginning of the season. I know you talked about feeling like Jacksonville, there's a little more of a traditional game plan than the Houston had been. What do you make of this past game, and at what point does it become a concern that y'all want to get?
Our sacks? Well, I'm not concerned about our pass rush. I think the only people that need to be concerned about our pass rush is who we line up against. So that's the facts of the matter. Our ability to get pressure and things like that. We need to stop the run. That's the starting point each and every week. We know that. We made that clear in training camp. We felt that's the way people were going to come after us, and but yeah, we have multiple players that can put heat on the quarterback. So I think there's a lot more than just sacks, and so I think the way Philadelphia is very talented, has a unique offense, and I thought they did a nice job.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Like Nashon had a busy workload, a lot of special teams and exercise. Is that the plan going forward, or just how that game played
Well,
out?
as we spoke before the Philadelphia game, without getting in great detail of it, we had defensive packages and had plans for all those guys, and just the way we were able to rep it during the week, and it was a quick week, and it's just really just the way the game worked out on how Dan called it, and how we felt the flow of the game was going.
I feel like he's matured a lot on the field. How he is.
Oh yeah, Nashon, absolutely. No, I think he's a great example what you look for in young players. He played a lot last year, and for him not to be on the 48 for the majority of the season, his work ethic doesn't change. He's always one of the highest revers as far as GPS and things like that, just the way he practices. So he was ready to go, and I think that showed in the way he played.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Morning News. On Michael Gallup's fade route, he was staring into the sun on it, which seemed like it might have impeded his ability to make a play on the ball. It's not the first time we've seen the sun at AT&T Stadium impact the receiver for the ball. What is that something that, as a coaching staff, you guys have to be more cognizant of, where certain route trees are taking players?
Yeah, it's all Kellen's fault. He was very irritated that he called that right there. So we'll be better. We'll be better next time. How in the hell do you want me to answer that question? So, Merry Christmas, Michaels. Nice seeing you too.
David. Wasn't no tenant.
Okay, you already had your question.
Mike, you were talking about Nashawn Wright earlier. Just, he appeared to play really well in practice and then took a hit during the preseason games. How much has this season kind of been working his confidence back to where he did it? And him and Bland both in that game. Did you like what you saw from them and their response?
Well, I mean, number one, you got to love their play style. I mean, they're definitely playing the right way, and it's just, I mean, you're just seeing young players that have done a great job preparing themselves for their opportunity. I mean, what can you say about Deron is the way he went from inside to outside. I thought he played at a high level. He was definitely in the conversation for game ball, and so I'm just so proud of both those guys. But that's, I mean, you just can't emphasize it enough. Man, December football, these young guys, this happens every year, and you're looking at two young men that have taken advantage of a great opportunity.
And to do that in the first game after you basically said we need to look at some things, I mean, does that, how beneficial is that for the coaching staff that now you saw this and you can just build on that going forward rather than do we need to do a different sort of package?
Well, I mean, I think it's, the normal process is, now the other team is seeing the way we're playing in certain packages. So, we'll just see how it fits this week. And, this is a quick week and they're coming off a tough loss, against Houston. So we just got to, get matched up and decide how we want to play.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Back on TY, that was kind of a remarkable circumstance. First catch for a new team, a 52-yarder on 3rd and 30. Can a play like that kind of speed up the process of getting the new guy kind of incorporated?
I think it's an excellent point. It definitely gave us a big spark, and it was obviously we all know what happened on 1st and 2nd down. So to be in that situation, and for Dak to have the confidence, and the throw and the catch. But yeah, that's what you're looking for. I mean, you're looking for that first catch at practice, the first catch in the game, and so, hopefully it's the start of a lot more to come.
Mike, is Dak's ability to bounce back after interceptions, pick sixes, different than other quarterbacks you've been around, or is there a common trait that those guys kind of share?
I think it's part of where they are in their journey. I think when guys go through it for the first time, I mean, some react differently. I think. One thing I've learned over the years, I mean, the eyes tell you a lot. He doesn't ever blink. I haven't seen him, I haven't seen him blink at pretty much a whole lot since I've been here. So I think that's where he is as far as in his journey of playing the quarterback position in the NFL. So he doesn't. You don't see him get up too high or too low. I mean, he's very, very consistent.
Clarence Hill for Worcester Telegram. This game, the Titans have nothing to play for essentially because everything is in the final game of the season. They're talking about resting guys. How do you approach that with your guys and your approach to the game, and certainly keeping your intensity up even though they may not have the same attitude toward this game?
Well, I mean, two things. Number one, I mean, we're preparing to play to our standard, to our productivity, and we have to each week, because we have the opportunity to go to the playoffs, and we want to be playing, our best football going in too. So, I'm going to count on you to let me know what they're going to do with their lineup. So, once you give me that information, we'll be good.
Mike, Jess Mars, DallasCowboys.com. Can you explain, bless you, the jump in 3rd down conversion rate and how the emphasis has really been put on that throughout the season?
Yeah, definitely. I think early in the year when you looked at our numbers offensively, I think there's, we had some changes that we were going through and first with the left tackle and then, receiver position. and the guys just stayed the course. I just think not only do young players get better, but positions get better. Units get better as far as a perimeter group, the run blocking group, and coaching staffs get better. Robert Prince that's his area of focus is third down. No different than Joe Philbin and Jeff Blasco with the run game. So I think something when a staff is now in their third year. And the first year was such an anomaly, but the game plan process gets better too. So I just think you're seeing all that come together. But most importantly, the players are playing with a lot more confidence in third down, and it always starts with protection. I mean, this will be another week that we could be challenged from a pressure standpoint. So, I think our not only our understanding, but the specifics of our protection plan and execution has been much better also.
Cal.
Mike, you were close to Nathaniel Hackett, and obviously he was let go today. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just personally disappointed. You never want to see a friend go through anything like this. And it's no fun. That's for sure, especially in season. So I know how much work he's put into this, and he'll bounce back. So, but yeah, that's obviously tough news for everybody that has big love for Nathaniel.
Babe Lofberg, Cowboys Radio Network. I'm assuming, Mike, you don't have a 3rd and 30 call sheet when you look down to the players, but you did go quick count, and you caught them pretty much trying to make a check call. Was that something you saw coming into that?
Well, no, it was just more situational. And I actually, on the headset, the biggest thing was if we could get a runner. That's the term that I personally use. If we can get a runner, take the shot. At worst. The worst case scenario could be a long punt, So, and once again, it was a great ball and great route, and just the way he just, for them two guys just to have 10 days of working together. So it was obviously a big connection.
And that was in front of your bench on your side of the field there. When you saw safety kind of not quite get, did you go, oh, geez?
Yeah, I always watch the protection because one thing I've always learned over the years, usually when you got a clean pocket and the quarterback's throwing in rhythm, the ball placement's going to be where it needs to be. So obviously we had excellent protection, and Dak threw it with a lot of confidence. And then obviously when I actually looked down the sideline, I saw the position T.Y. was in, and I knew we had a shot.
How have you seen Tyler Smith continue to develop over the course of the season?
How have I seen him?
Yeah, come along.
Oh, I think his arrow has just keep climbing. I think the game he played against Philadelphia is probably his best play, but best start to finish. He had the one negative, but I thought his physicality, his confidence, his urgency. I think he's steadily increased each and every week, and I think the biggest thing you got to understand with Tyler, he's very bright. And he's up here every morning early. Him and Jeff Blasco have an early morning meeting. So when you see him put, he does all the little things too. So he's going to be a fine player here for a long time.
Mike, how about with these 3 games and 12-day stretches? How much have you planned that out? Well in advance.
I didn't plan it. I didn't plan this. Yeah.
I'm sorry, the schedule part of it, how you treat you guys, and.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. That's a great point. I think the biggest thing that you look at is obviously the medical, the physical, journey that we're on, and we have a good blueprint coming out of the Thanksgiving week. So there's a lot of similarities, of how we're training this week, compared to the Thanksgiving week, and we do have one more day longer. We have, it was Christmas, but the players were off, so the workload capacity is very similar to going into the Giants game.
Obviously, you guys still have a lot to play for. Is it easier is it less talking you have to do with them because they are a lot of guys on your team are self-motivated, they understand, hey, we can still win the division and that kind of.
I'll be honest with you. I know, we always talk about waiting to the 11th game. I didn't even waste any time on the playoff scenarios today. I went right to the Titans just because, they were off yesterday, and it's just such a quick turnaround. So I think everybody understands where we are. The most important thing is we have to get this 12th win, and then sit down and watch Philadelphia on Sunday. And that's really anything past that is, really wasted time.
Louis Scruggs, NBC5. Talking about watching the Titans, what are you seeing from Derrick Henry that allows him to continue to play at this high level at that position?
So consistent, physical. Obviously, his running style is unique. I mean, his physical dimensions are so unique for the running back position. So, I mean, he's obviously a huge key to how that team functions. I think I'm not just talking about his production, but the way he plays. It's definitely something that can rally a football team. The toughness and physicality. So he's definitely a focal point for us.
How unique as a runner is he? Because with that size.
I've never seen. I mean, I've never seen anybody like Derek. To be honest with you, I'm just go back through the years. I know Deuce McAllister was probably the biggest guy I've ever had, and obviously, I think Deuce was maybe 6'3". But yeah, very, very unique, high cut, just has a physical running style.
Mike, we touched on Nathaniel Hackett losing a job. How much do you talk to your coordinators, if at all, now about whether they would interview for positions before y'all's season is over, and what's your philosophy on that?
I'll be honest with you, we haven't spoken about it this year. I think obviously going through it last year. So, I think the process is, based on opportunities and so forth, that kind of handles themselves. Dan's obviously been through it before. Kellen's been through it now 2 years. So I don't see that as a potential distraction at all.
Mike, we've had you several questions about the scheduling, but you also listen to your players a lot to see where they are physically and mentally and adapt your schedule a lot too. How do you balance still having the structure you need and taking their input in changing things on the fly?
Well, the biggest input that I get is really from the training staff and the strength and conditioning staff. So I don't go around the locker room and take a poll of how you feel, because you got to remember and this is universal. I'm sure every head coach goes through this, because anytime you ask a player how he's doing, they're all doing great. They're just ready to go. Just put me in, coach. So so that's really not how it works. We have a GPS meeting after every practice, and so we're always looking at numbers, feedback, and frankly, I think like a lot of things, when you do this job, pre-GPS and some of the analytics that you have now, you have to be able to look at a practice and look at meetings, look at walkthroughs, and they need to look a certain way, and what I'm talking about, you're always measuring energy of your work climate, because at the end of the day you've got to have a really good preparation and at least get your performance off and running. So I feel just through the years of experience I have, I know what it looks like, and I think I know what it needs to be done, and I'll do have the benefits of a Britt Brown and Harold Nash, and so this is our format is we're in year 3 of doing it. So I think the indicators that we look for and the understanding of it, I think we have a really good system and a good process to determine how much work we need to do and physically, but in the same breath, at the end of the day, the mental and emotional challenge is always critical in December, and that's what we're really focused on.
Do you override the GPS information less now than maybe you did initially?
Do I override it?
Yeah, I mean, because sometimes you see something and
Yeah, I don't believe in GPS being the absolute deterrent, and some people do. I think that I think there's more to look at. So I think it puts you in a realm to. I think GPS it's another statistic that points you in a certain direction. You have to definitely have more information than GPS, in my opinion.
How do you feel Mackenzie Alexander fared in his team debut, and the rhythm for the substitution and the move and all that? Was that dictated by anything that developed in game, or was it the plan all along?
No, I think that clearly, that was plan going in. I think the way he played with his opportunities, I thought he did a really nice job for the first time out there. But the communication in game, really. I thought was better in the last 2 weeks, and I didn't think it was an issue the last 2 weeks, because I thought the staff did a really good job of handling the in-game injuries. In-game injuries are a challenge. They always will be. I mean, just because you're making changes, and especially when you have two. You have two to a position, so two to a certain personnel group. So those type of challenges. So and we didn't have that this week. So the flow of the play call, the personnel substitution, I thought our guys did a nice job today. this past Saturday.
All righty, thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.